You are freezing. You are lost. Your body is shutting down in the Alaskan snow. And then you hear it. Not the wind, not a wolf. You hear a baby crying. Or worse, you hear your mother's voice calling your name. If you follow that voice, you aren't being saved.
Welcome to the last frontier,
hunted.
Alaska, a land of breathtaking beauty and deadly secrets. Every year, thousands of people vanish here. They say it's the cold that gets them, or the bears, or simply the unforgiving terrain. But the Tlingit people, the indigenous guardians of this land who have lived here for thousands of years, know the truth. They know that something else stalks the deep woods, something that isn't animal and isn't human. They call them the Kushtaka.
In the Tlingit language, Kushtaka roughly translates to Land Otter Man. Now, when you think of an otter, you probably picture a playful, cute creature floating on its back. But in the lore of Southeast Alaska, the otter is a symbol of deception. The Tlingit believe the Kushtaka are shapeshifters. They occupy a terrifying gray area between the physical world and the spirit realm. They are the supreme tricksters of the north. Legend says that the first Kushtaka wasn't born a monster. He was a man who drowned or died of cold and was denied entry into the afterlife. To survive, he merged with the spirit of the otter. But misery loves company. The Kushtaka are not solitary predators. They are recruiters. Their goal isn't just to kill you. That would be too simple. Their goal is to steal your soul and turn you into one of them. Imagine hiking a trail you walked 100 times. A sudden fog rolls in, the temperature drops, you get turned around, panic sets in. That is when they appear. They don't jump out and attack. They wait. They watch. They are masters of psychological warfare. What makes the Kushtaka truly nightmare-inducing is their method of luring victims. They know that humans are social creatures. When we are scared, we look for help. The Kushtaka use this against us. They are mimics. Hikers in the Alaskan bush have reported hearing sounds that shouldn't exist in the wild. The clear, piercing cry of a human infant, the scream of a woman in distress. It triggers a biological instinct. You want to help. You run toward the sound. But their deception goes deeper. The Tlingit legends warn that the Kushtaka can shapeshift into the form of your trusted loved ones. You might see your brother, your best friend, or your spouse standing on the trail ahead, waving you over. They look warm. They look safe. They beckon you to follow them off the path, deeper into the woods, away from safety. Come here, they might say. It's warm over here. If you get close enough to realize their eyes are wrong, or that their hands are actually claws, it is already too late. Once they have you, they allegedly tear your spirit from your body. The victim forgets their human life, forgets their family, and becomes another Kushtaka, doomed to prowl the Alaskan wilderness forever, looking for the next traveler to trick. It is a fate worse than death. It is eternal exile.
You might be thinking, this is just folklore, a campfire story to keep children from wandering off. And yes, all legends serve a purpose, but here is where the story gets cold. In modern-day Alaska, people are still seeing them. In the vast region known as the Alaska Triangle, where more people disappear per capita than anywhere else in the United States, strange reports keep surfacing. We aren't talking about tourists who don't know the woods. We are talking about seasoned hunters, survivalists, and locals. There are reports from the areas around Juneau and Sitka. Hikers describe a sudden, unnatural silence falling over the forest. The birds stop singing, the wind dies down. Then, the feeling of being watched. Not by an animal. Animals usually flee from humans. This is a gaze that feels intelligent. One account tells of a gold prospector near the Yukon River. He was alone, miles from civilization. Late one night, he heard scratching on the side of his cabin. Not a bear. Bears smash. They don't scratch rhythmically. Then, a voice from outside. It sounded like a child whimpering. He grabbed his rifle and opened the door. There was nothing there, just tracks in the snow. But the tracks were disturbing. They started as boot prints and dissolved into the distinct slide marks of an otter belly dragging through the snow. He packed his camp and left at first light. He never returned to that claim. Other witnesses report seeing shadow people darting between trees at superhuman speeds. When they investigate, they find swaths of crushed grass and the musky, overwhelming smell like wet fur and rotting kelp.
Skeptics and scientists have a different explanation for the Kushtaka. They point to the harsh reality of the Alaskan elements. Hypothermia is a silent killer. As the body freezes, the brain begins to misfire. One of the final stages of hypothermia involves hallucinations. This is scientifically documented. People freezing to death often hear voices. They see people who aren't there. They sometimes engage in paradoxical undressing, tearing off their clothes because they feel a sudden, false burst of heat. If a rescue team finds a body in the woods, stripped of clothes, twisted in a strange position, science says hypothermia. But the Tlingit legend says the victim was tricked, that the Kushtaka lured them into a false sense of warmth to strip their soul away. Is the Kushtaka a monster of flesh and blood, or is it a metaphor for the madness that the cold brings? Does it matter? Because in the end, the result is the same. You walk into the woods and you never walk out.
The Tlingit elders have rules for dealing with the Kushtaka. They say copper, urine, and dogs can repel the creatures. They say you must never whistle in the dark, for it acts as a beacon. But the most important rule is simple. Never trust what you hear in the wild. The wilderness does not care about you. It is vast, ancient, and hungry. So if you ever find yourself hiking the trails of the last frontier, and you hear a baby crying in a place where no baby should be, or you see your friend waving at you from the shadows, don't look, don't listen, and for God's sake, don't follow. Run.